recording. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Beauty Birds podcast, where your birds, Tara and Becca, put on lipstick and talk about shit we like.
Heck yeah.
Today, what are we talking about today?
We are going to talk about dupes, but before we talk about dupes, do you want to talk about what is on your face?
Yes. We are on day 2 right now of our 30-day Beauty Birds podcast lipstick challenge. By the time this goes up, we'll probably be about 2 weeks in. But if you're listening and you haven't heard about it yet, join us at any time. We're posting everything on our Instagram at Beauty Birds Podcast. But my lipstick choice of the day is one of my favorites. It's the Laura Mercier, what's the actual thing? Velour Extreme Matte Lipstick in the shade Fire, which is, it's a fire shade. It's so good. I love this formula. I love this color. It's one of those red orange shades that works really well with like really minimal makeup, which is kind of what I got going on today.
I was going to say, it looks like your perfect red almost.
It's definitely up there. Probably one of my favorites. I'm actually kind of planning to go through all my reds and oranges first in our 30-day challenge.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if this is the best one. And the other thing I'm wearing is from a, I feel like not super talked about, not super cool brand, but it's the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream.
Oh, fun.
It's a tinted moisturizer. It's got SPF 30. I kind of like the formula anyway, but I don't know if it was like late last year or just under the radar. They released twice as many shades.
Oh,
so they
wow.
put like a 0.5 in between all of their shades.
Yeah.
And now I have like a perfect match. So I'm wearing 1.5, which is Birch. And
Nice.
It's like fantastic. If this is like the closest I get to wearing foundation anymore, and I'm into it. What you got on today?
For my lipstick, I have a MAC bullet lipstick, which like I never ever wear bullet lipsticks, but honestly, I'm home, I'm not going anywhere. So why not? And it's in the shade Winifred, which is it's like a pale purple, like a very cool pale purple color. It's really cool.
A little 90s vibe going?
Yeah, it's actually really unique for like a lipstick shade because I feel like there's so many dupes of like all the colors out there. This one was fairly unique. And then the other makeup products, I have a couple of things on, but that I wanted to highlight was I used a Real Techniques blending sponge today for the first time in a while.
Ooh.
I feel like I go back and forth between like sponges and brushes all the time, where every once in a while I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna use a brush. I don't know why I don't use them anymore. And then I use a brush. I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. I love it. And then I go back to a sponge and I'm like, why did I stop using this sponge? It's incredible.
I've done that so many times.
Yeah, so that was nice.
I'm currently in a no sponge zone, but when I am using a sponge, I'm a big fan of the Real Techniques one.
Me too. I think I've bought these consistently for like 5 or so years now.
I don't think I was on the sponge game that early, but definitely the last like 3 years at least.
Okay. Also back to our lipstick challenge, I just wanted to point out that wearing lipstick 2 days in a row has made me want to wear makeup 2 days in a row. So like if you're sitting around and doing what I did, which was like change from your night sweatpants into your day sweatpants and like kind of just fall into a rut, this challenge is kind of really fun to like play with makeup again.
Yeah, it's like gotten me excited. Not that I don't love makeup. Obviously, We do. We have a freaking podcast about it. But being home all the time has definitely been like, oh, well, like, I don't need to do that. Why bother? But I've also seen people like putting on tuxes and prom dresses to go grocery shopping.
I love that.
And I'm like, all right, maybe I need to just get dressed up to like sit and read my book on the couch. I'm here for
Frank
it.
out.
Yeah, I'm going to get super decked out to walk him tomorrow.
So yeah, if you're sitting at home and you're kind of just like entering the why bother phase, maybe do our challenge.
Yeah, so 30-day lipstick challenge is wearing a lip product every day for 30 days. We're going to do the month of May, but you can start at any time. The idea is to shop your stash and not repeat any products. And if you're participating, post on Instagram, either in your feed or in your stories, tag us and use the hashtag BBP challenge and join us.
All right, so what are we talking about today, Becca?
We're talking about dupes or duplicates. We kind of figured out like 4 main reasons of why somebody would want a dupe. So I'm going to run through those and then we'll talk about each of them one by one.
Okay.
So my first example, or like a reason that somebody would want to find a dupe or a duplicate of a product, is looking for a similar product to something that they really like, but maybe at a lower price point.
Right.
Another option or reason for wanting a dupe is that if you like a formula or you like a product, but you don't want to support the brand that makes it, which is one I go through a lot. Our third is finding or having a shade that you like of a product, but wanting it in a different formula. So if you have a bullet lipstick that you love, but bullet lipsticks are not really your jam and you want to find it in a liquid lipstick, you'd be looking for a dupe of that shade.
Right.
And then last but not least, one we've all experienced is looking for a dupe, either shade or formula, or I guess also at price point, but looking for an alternative for a discontinued product.
The heartbreak.
The heartbreak. I actually, making my little like spreadsheet rundown of examples for this, found out that one of my favorite bullet lipsticks has actually been discontinued and I didn't know.
Ooh, which one?
Melt Bang Bang, which I think I wore like last week when we recorded.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're going to talk about all of those. Do you want to start with finding a similar product at a different price point?
Yeah. So, I think I've become self-aware of when I start to fall into like what we were calling the dupe hole, like the dupe rabbit hole, where it's like once you get started down it, you just like can't stop and like you don't realize what you're doing. So I think I've started to notice what I'm doing. But the one that like sucked me in the most at a price point thing was trying to find a dupe for Kat Von D's Lolita before. Okay, so long before KVD Vegan Beauty imploded and Kat Von D imploded and she was like all the rage, Lolita came out and that was like the hot shade to have.
That was like when shades were coming out and then it was like, oh, this was limited edition, now it's discontinued and you can't find it again.
Yeah.
I regretfully remember having similar feels.
Yeah, and for some reason, this is the dumbest thing ever because it was $20 and like $20 is just, it's $20, you know?
It's a lot for a lipstick though.
It is. And I think that's the thing that like, I don't know, I had to work past that and it took years. So Kat Von D Lolita came out and I was like, wow, I really want that shade. I think it was also sold out all the time too. So I was like, you know what, while it's sold out, I'm going to try to find it at a cheaper price point. And I ended up buying so many dupes that I spent way more than what the lipstick cost. I bought, I think Stila Patina was a dupe, which is...
I had that.
I think it might have been more expensive. It wasn't a good dupe, by the way. It was like very different from the color. There were a couple of NYX dupes. I'm trying to think what other, like a Maybelline one I probably bought. Like I just bought so many alternative colors to that one that like by the time I finally, I ended up buying it because I couldn't find like a good enough dupe for it. But like I had to have spent $40 looking for an alternative to spend $20.
I actually just am on the ColourPop website right now because I wanted to quickly add it to our like comparison thing, but they don't actually tell you how big they are.
They used to. Do you remember there was a whole thing, I think it was on like Reddit, where someone did the price per ounce for ColourPop? I actually speed added that to our notes while you were talking.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it.
Where they did the price per ounce compared to like a MAC lipstick, and it's almost the same price per ounce, but you get way less in a ColourPop lipstick than you do a MAC lipstick. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that we talked about too is like, sometimes when the reason you're looking for a dupe is that it's more affordable, you don't really care about the price per ounce. You care about that lower outlay to begin with. Like the upfront cost is what you care about.
Exactly.
So my example was the NARS Power Matte lip pigments.
Yeah.
It's actually a really fantastic formula. It's very watery, but like in a nice way. It just applies in a very thin layer.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Lime Crime Velveteens also have that type of
I
formula.
love them.
But the NARS Power Matte is $26 for one shade.
Yeah.
And the Lime Crime Velveteen is $20. So even though you actually get a little bit more product, actually I think you get almost twice as much product in the NARS shade. Like I've never finished a full Lime Crime
Me
Velveteen liquid.
neither.
So like, I don't really care that the price per ounce is $227 compared to $144. I care that I
Exactly.
spent $20 and not $26 up front.
Right. I'd rather have a larger variety of lipstick shades to choose from than like one or two shades, because then I get to play with more colors and like different wear different options more often.
Absolutely. And also, I think sometimes that like a smaller product is fine.
Yeah.
Like, especially now where even the average makeup user owns a substantial amount of product.
Yeah.
Like, you're not really running out of anything.
Exactly. So yeah, that rabbit hole of dupes, like that's one that took me a while to realize I was doing, and it wasn't until I bought like the third or fourth shade where I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna spend the $20 because at this point I've already spent 40.
I feel like the finding a similar product at a different price point is where I've had the most like when dupes fail
Yeah.
of I've just spent so much to find a cheaper alternative that works as well, like particularly in skincare,
Hmm.
that like I could have just bought the original thing
Yeah.
and
Do you know what
saved so much money.
I almost fell into last year? I think it was last year when I bought the Pat McGrath Mothership 5 palette. I bought it for that one. Well, there were a couple of shades that I liked, but like the main reason I wanted it was that one like white gold duochrome shade.
Yes.
I almost went in on like a dupe rabbit hole looking for it because the palette itself was $125. So I ended up returning it because I didn't like all of the rest of the shades, and I could not justify the price for the one shade. So then
That's
I
such a
was like,
crazy price for eyeshadow. I can't get over
it
it.
is. So I almost went in on a dupe hole looking for uh, a dupe of that one shade. Do you want to know what I ended up doing? I found someone on
Yes.
Etsy. Ah, I found someone on Etsy who makes eyeshadow. Like she presses her own eyeshadow and makes her own colors, and they're mostly all duochromes. And she has like a custom request option. So I messaged her and um, I told her what I was looking for, the exact color, and I sent her the links to the palette and swatches. And it was like $30, but like at the end of the day, I'm glad I spent $30 getting what I think is like almost an exact dupe than like buying $100 worth of ones that aren't that close.
I want to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you spent $30 on one eyeshadow, but I've spent $35 on a highlight.
Exactly. And like, I honestly have never spent $35 on one eyeshadow before, but if I was ready to spend $125 on a palette,
Yeah.
I kind of just was like, you know what, I'm not going to spend all this time and money looking for a dupe just to spend another $125 and not have a pretty Pat McGrath palette. I'll spend the one-time payment of $30 and get the shade that's like, yeah. So that ended up working out really well for me. Self-aware. I stopped myself.
I think skincare has been my biggest thing of trying to find a cheaper alternative because, like, buying skincare is not the most fun thing. Those are
Yeah.
products that I do actually use up and I have to restock every couple of months. And I actually just went through it right now of trying to find a similar product at a different price point for my cleanser. And it has not been a fun experience. I'm just now, my hive is almost gone after a couple days. Like,
Yeah.
just, I mean, do your research, but like, there comes a point of where you've spent so much trying to find a cheaper alternative that like just buy the damn thing.
Just buy the damn thing. As long as you can afford it, buy the damn thing. If
Yeah,
you
no,
can't
like
afford it,
don't be skipping bills and stuff to buy makeup, but
but if you can't afford it, don't buy 10 of the cheaper damn thing because that's just the equivalent of buying the damn thing.
yeah. Um
Ooh, also I'll link the shop where I got that Pat McGrath
yes,
dupe
please.
because
That
she
sounds
takes
great.
custom requests and it was really cool.
Um I could use there's a few shades in palettes where I would love to make a custom request so I don't have to buy the whole palette.
Right?
On to the next one.
Yes.
This is one where I mean, I've been pretty vocal about this since we started this podcast, but another, like one of the reasons that I look for dupes is that if I like a formula or I like a product or I'm interested in the formula or the product, but I don't want to support the brand for like moral or ethical reasons.
Yeah.
My example was Jeffree Star,
Yeah.
because lots of people still to this day are like, but the products are so good. And you're like, but he's like a racist, misogynistic, transphobic piece of shit. And not only do Dose of Colors and Sugar Pill make a liquid lipstick with a very similar texture of their formula, it's also the same packaging and the same price point.
Yeah.
They're also $18. They're the same kind of moussey texture in the same really cute packaging.
Yeah.
But it's a better brand to support. It's also like an indie, cruelty-free brand, and both Sugar Pill and Dose of Colors are owned by women.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is another one that I fell into as well. Do you have any in particular that you are thinking of that you did?
It took me, oh man, what was that shade called? Prom Night. I didn't know Jeffree Star's like MySpace trash human background when his
Okay.
makeup company launched. So like maybe the first, I don't even know if it was a full year, but in the very beginning, I was a big fan.
Okay.
He was an openly gay man starting his own company, like independent, cruelty-free. There were reasons to like what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he had this crazy neon hot pink shade called Prom Night.
I remember it.
And every time I wore it, I would get so many compliments. And then like the day I saw the video of him screaming at those women, I think I sold as much as I could on Reddit and like threw the rest out.
Oh, you had more than one shade from him?
Oh, I had like maybe close to 10 lipsticks.
I did not know that.
I don't think I ever bought anything else. Maybe like a lip scrub, but I
Okay.
think I like dipped out way before any other products started coming to market. Like it was just lipsticks at the time.
Wow, I didn't know you had any. I can say I've proudly never owned a Jeffree Star product.
I think like if you go way back on my Instagram, there's like swatch posts of like where me swatching all my Jeffree Star lipsticks.
Wow.
But it's almost like people can grow and learn. And I learned he was a trash human being, and I got the hell rid of everything I owned, and
Yeah.
now very loudly oppose his mere existence on this earth.
Um, do you
But I
know
did find a great dupe from
what
Dose
was
of Colors.
what was the dupe?
Where do I have it? It is the shade Pinky Promise from Dose of Colors. It's incredibly vibrant hot pink.
Yeah.
I still wear it. It's a really great, it's kind of my like default when we go to weddings. I like always end up
Ooh.
wearing this color. I don't know, it always works for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say you rock the brightest and coolest colors ever.
Well, thanks. I can't wear like a 90s brown for my life, but I did find a dupe. It was the same $18. It's the same packaging. I
Yeah.
don't have to give a racist asshole my money. And even though like the size, like if you want to get into price per ounce, there's like 0.2 of an ounce size difference of actually Jeffree Star's is 0.19 ounces and Dose of Colors is 0.16. But like I've had that for 3-4 years and I'm not even close to finishing it.
Yeah.
It was the same price, it's basically the same color, and I don't have to support a bad person. So that was a worthwhile dupe for me.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and say mine was not worthwhile, although I can agree that finding an alternative for Jeffree Star would be worthwhile. You know who is a great resource for dupes of lip colors? Sometimes palettes, but like they really focus in on lips. Dupe that.
Mm-hmm.
They are
Yeah.
really, really good.
I don't know if I follow them personally, but I see their stuff because our like Instagram follows them.
Yeah. You know, there are two things from this brand. All right, so the one that I fell into with a company I didn't want to support was Lime Crime and the Venus palette, because we talked about it in our first podcast. I first started following makeup right around when Venus launched. And I remember all of the beauty people that I started following were like, oh, you can't buy from that brand. There was literally like, I remember they posted on Instagram a Lime Crime logo with like a X through it. And it was like, I
yeah.
support this brand. And I was like, oh my God, this shit's serious. I can't support this brand, even though I really wanted the Venus palette. So I spent so much time and money trying to make a dupe palette of my own of the Venus palette, and it was fugly and cheap quality, and I ended up spending like way more than the Venus palette, and then I eventually ended up buying it.
Was it worth it? Do you love it?
Yeah, I still have it. It's one of my favorites.
Um, the hate that Lime Crime got, not that Dodier is like a perfect angel,
Yeah.
but like her, not that I want to like say this racism is worse than this racism, but I just feel like Jeffree Star is so objectively a worse person, and
Yeah.
Kat Von D is so objectively a worse person,
Yeah.
and Dodier got so much more hate.
And I think she did apologize.
Yeah, she's also not American. Like she's an
Yeah.
immigrant, and not that that excuses anybody's racism, but speaking as the daughter and granddaughter of Russian Ukrainian immigrants, my grandparents are real racist. And like work in progress, but if she grew up there, like there was a lot more learning to do when she got to the US than for people that grew up here.
Yeah, and like I think she apologized, and that might not mean much to many people, but like after her incidents, if you will, she kind of like didn't do much else in the way of terrible.
If nothing else, she was very smart in that she kind of disappeared herself from the public. And like, while I guess I do appreciate that Kat Von D and Jeffree Star endlessly run their mouths because now we know how terrible they are. That she kind of shut up and went away and worked on her company was really smart.
Or maybe she learned something and is a better person. Who knows?
Yeah. Anyway, I have lots of Lime Crime stuff now, but I also was like really adamant about not supporting them for a long time until I learned more about how things in this industry work.
Right. So I didn't end up buying the Venus palette for like another year or so after I went on like that crazy dupe rampage. I also tried relentlessly to dupe Lime Crime's cashmere liquid lipstick.
Oh, not possible.
Slowly panning off the screen.
Sorry, I really needed a tissue for anybody watching.
It wasn't possible back then, but I think it is now. There's a lot of shades that are similar, but that was another one that I spent way more than $20 to dupe because I didn't want to support the brand. But I ended up after, like you said, she distanced herself, and like Lime Crime kind of wasn't public enemy number one.
Close dupe, but not quite. Dose of Color Stone.
Yeah.
Also mega hyped. But yeah, cashmere is like the OG, the greige. When I bought this, I thought I was so cool.
Same.
But yeah, so I guess end of 2016 is when I was like, okay, fine, I'll try Lime Crime.
Yeah, so that was, so both of those shades I ended up, or palette and lipstick, I tried to dupe, couldn't dupe, and ended up buying it. So, but if it was truly a brand I didn't support, like I've never looked for something that Jeffree Star made that like I couldn't find elsewhere, or anything that he made that I was like, I need to find this elsewhere rather.
Yeah, I don't understand anybody who's like, but the formulas are so good. Like, it's 2020. It's eyeshadow and liquid lipstick. Everybody's doing this.
Right. If your formula isn't good, you're not.
Nobody's talking about you.
Yeah.
All right. That one, I got real into that one. Finding that shade in a different formula.
Okay.
Have you been on that train of looking for a dupe?
Kind of. I'll go more broad and say finding a shade that I haven't seen anywhere yet that's in my brain that I want in a formula.
Okay.
I wanted a really good brown liquid lipstick for a long time, and I couldn't find one anywhere, and I eventually ended up getting a bullet lipstick in brown that I really enjoy, and that's still the closest that I can find. There's a Jeffree Star one that I won't pay any
Have you looked on Dose of Colors?
I have. It's not what I'm looking for. Like I said, it's in my brain, and I don't think that it's just not, I can't find one anywhere that I'm specifically looking for. It's like a medium dark brown shade, not dark brown black kind of looking. It's more of like a light but dark.
I have like 4 different shades in my head from Dose of Colors and Colored Rain, and after we finish recording, I'm going to find them all and send them to you.
I have one now. I really like it's I forgot what brand it is, but it's a bullet lipstick that I ended up kind of really enjoying. So
Well, that's good.
yeah, which one did you fall into?
I don't know that I super have one. No, that's not true. NARS, their Audacious lipstick line,
Yeah,
it actually might have been discontinued by this point, but at the time it was like a very popular color. I think it was called Anna. It was like a
I remember that
very
one.
kind of like pinky mauvey, that perfect
Yes.
shade, but on me it was like very pale and gray, like it wasn't
Okay.
the right undertone. And I went on a many months long mission of trying to find it, including having a custom shade made at Bite Beauty when I was in New York visiting my mom.
Wow.
But like ultimately I needed to find it in a liquid lipstick because that's the
Yeah.
majority of what I wear. And I think I came pretty close. There were definitely a lot of casualties along the way. But it was also a situation where just buying the thing wouldn't have worked because that wasn't, I guess it also was like a shade I kind of made up in my head. But oddly enough, my perfect solution was actually also from NARS.
Okay. What was it?
The NARS Power Matte liquid lipstick in Save the Queen, which I think like maybe reminiscent of Anna,
Okay.
but it's like a kind of pink. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's a really great shade. I wear it to work a lot.
Nice.
You can,
Oh, that is a nice shade. Like a nice mauvey.
yeah,
Yeah.
mauvey pink. It's like mauve, but a little berry. Whatever, not the point. Eventually I found it. But like also making that custom shade at Bite
Yeah.
Beauty, while a very cool experience, I really don't wear it that often, and it was expensive.
Yeah. It's actually something I've always wanted to do. It seems like a fun experience, more for like the experience than the lipstick.
I have it. I actually, maybe it is really close to that.
Wait,
Wow, I think it's basically,
wait. You sent me the Bite Beauty Movember.
yes.
Was that not super similar to that?
That one looked really dark on me.
Okay.
Wow, I actually quite pretty closely nailed it. For those that are listening and not watching, I just did swatches on the back of my hand of the custom bullet bite shade and the NARS liquid lipstick shade, all of which was looking for a dupe of NARS Audacious and Anna that actually worked for me. So moderately successful, but like a lot of failed pinky mauve lipsticks purchased over
Yeah.
time. My friend Elisa has gotten a lot of them because she rocks like a 90s brown,
Yeah.
and everything that pulls brown on me, I'm like, okay, great, this is for you. That
Yeah, I
was
guess that
my,
one is more of like cat more of like colors that exist in our brain that we wish we could find but we can't.
yeah, I think actually on the spreadsheet that I made, the example that I came up with was one of the YSL, their tatouage liquid lipsticks
Yeah.
is like $37, but Melt actually has a really great shade dupe in their bullet formula, which is $19.
Yeah.
So like a more affordable, cruelty-free, vegan, woman-owned indie shade match, just in a different formula.
So do you ever agree that you should fall down a dupe hole, or do you think we should buy the damn thing?
I think it depends. Like if you really love this $37 YSL liquid lipstick and it's the right shade for you and it's in your budget and you want it,
Yeah.
like fine. I don't think you have to look for dupes.
Yeah.
But like if you're sitting there like, wow, this is the perfect color for me, but I don't like liquid lipstick, or some equivalent of that, this is too expensive and I want an alternative. Yeah, I think it can be, if you're putting in the work to do the research and not just like don't order like 10 different lipsticks trying to find a dupe and then have, yeah, like I'm calling myself out here. There's there can be good reason to look for dupes, but I don't think you have to. Like if something's in your budget and it's what you want,
Yeah.
cool, buy it. Like I don't
Yeah.
think you should feel ashamed of wanting or buying something that's expensive if it fits into your like financial goals.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, take a step back, maybe like go into store once that's a thing we can do again, and take some
Right.
swatches and like get some samples, and don't just spend 6 months buying things off the internet and then giving them to your friends when they don't work like I did.
I think that's where like we both went wrong on that, because like now I'm gonna reference my olive palette again, where I'm like frozen in time trying to make a decision, where like past me would have bought a bunch of cheap ones and been like, well, these cheap ones suck, let me try this mid-range one, and been like, this one sucks, let me just try then like eventually buying the expensive one. Whereas like now I'm kind of frozen in time, just waiting until I buy the expensive one, knowing I'm not gonna try the ones that I
You're gonna buy
probably,
it next week, right? For your
yeah,
birthday?
I feel like I should.
By the
Um,
time you guys hear this, it will already be past Tara's birthday, but I still think you should go on our Instagram at Beauty Birds Podcast and pressure her into buying this damn olive palette
because
that
chances
she's been
are I
talking
didn't buy
about
it.
for literally like a year and a half.
For reference, the olive palette I want is from Menagerie Cosmetics, which used to be Makeup Monsters,
Yes, I always forget that that's
right?
the same brand.
Yeah, you sent me a really cool shade of liquid lipstick from them too, Makeup Monsters. But anyway, they have a build your own palette option, and it's $54, and they have all of the shades that like I've been looking for, and I can put them together. Whereas like the other options I've been looking at are like, well, I like that, but it's missing that shade, or like, oh, I like two of those shades. So yeah, I'm getting there.
Which Makeup Monsters lipstick did I send you? Do you remember?
I don't know the color, but it was like a purple mauve. It was honestly like the
It
liquid
was
lipstick. Yeah.
it was purchased in my search for my Anna dupe.
Get out. That is so far from that color.
But like in swatches, I thought it was like a mauve-y kind of, like when I looked at lip swatches, it was like not terribly far off, but it pulls really brown, right?
So I was just thinking it looks just like this shade that I'm wearing today, which is Winifred, which is like a purpley gray, like mauve.
Oh wait, I did get a gray from them as well. Maybe it's not the one. But my order from Makeup
Yeah.
Monsters when that happened started in that dupe hunt for Anna.
So yeah, I think the takeaway is just like realize what you're doing. Be self-aware when you're searching for dupes.
Yeah, be
And don't be
mindful.
compulsive.
Still like apply the basic rules of being an educated consumer,
Yeah.
which, reminder, there's an entire blog post about that
It's
on
incredible.
beautybirdspodcast.com, and I'll link that again in the blog post for this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've all had a lot of dupe fails, and like it's kind of counterproductive at that point.
Oh my God. If I saved all of my dupe fails, I would have like an entire bucket of stupid things I've bought because I didn't do enough research, or like, I don't know. I think what I've learned after all these years of buying stupid dupes that don't work is that if I'm going to try to dupe something, I'm going to do it right and buy custom.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. Like even with the olive palette, like I'd rather make my own from a company that has shades that
Yeah.
I want rather than like the ColourPop build your own or like MAC. I like went and searched the interwebs for someone that has all of the shades I want, and like the Pat McGrath dupe shadow. So yeah, that is where my dupe journey has led me.
Our final reason that somebody might search for a dupe: finding a similar shade or formula for a discontinued product.
This one is the worst. This one's so sad. We've all experienced it. We've all fallen in love with the product, and then it just disappears.
What was your one? Do you have a main one?
So the only one I can think of right now, because I know I've had it happen a few times, has been the CoverGirl Flamed Out Mascara. Was my all-time favorite mascara, and it was $7, and I used to buy it 2 at a time on Ulta, sometimes 3 at a time, because there would always be like a, like buy one get one free, or like buy one get one half off kind of thing at Ulta.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had my 3 sitting there, and by the time I ran out, I was like, oh, I should probably get some more, and it was gone. The closest one I found was the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir.
I
As
love
like
that mascara so much.
yeah, it's $20 more expensive than the CoverGirl Flamed Out one.
I just found a picture. If I seemed inattentive, I apologize. I was trying to find a picture of my product. The 2015 Tarte Holiday Limited Edition Blush Palette.
Wow.
Had a shade in it called Prim.
Okay.
And it was the only shade in that palette that like I really loved. It was this awful glittery black packaging.
Ooh.
It had 5 wildly different blush shades that like not a chance in hell all 5 of these shades would work for any one person, unless you're like maybe using them as eyeshadow and doing a lot of editorial looks. But there's like a light pale pink and then like a very coral. Anyway, Prim was like this, I almost want to say like a neutral coral. I don't know how to describe this color. How do you describe that color? It's kind of like a nude.
Mauve coral, like a clay coral.
I bought a lot of blush. Yes, kind of like a light, fleshy, maybe slightly terracotta shade. I bought a lot of blushes and eyeshadows searching for that after it was discontinued.
Yeah.
Well, obviously it was discontinued because it was like a limited edition thing to begin with, which is why I don't buy limited edition products anymore.
Yeah.
But the closest I've gotten is now probably my favorite blush of all time, which is Honey Thief from Melt.
Oh yeah.
Which
That's
is
a good color on you.
Pretty much the like 90% of the time of what I'm wearing when I wear blush. But yeah, that was my one that like I still think about Prim to this day. I think back when liquid lipsticks were first getting really popular, to release a shade and then like pull it was a really common thing. Like Kat Von D was doing it. I think everybody basically was doing it.
Yeah.
And also that kind of like false low inventory thing of like, oh, it's sold out, wait for it to come back. So like that I've definitely gone through, where and like having to wait for it to come back or to have it like a liquid lipstick be gone. But there's so many liquid lipsticks out there now that it's really not that hard to find a shade match or alternative for a color.
The heartbreak.
I've definitely had ColourPop highlighters get discontinued on me though.
I've never used a ColourPop highlighter. I think I had one of the Super Shock ones and I really didn't like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I've had this for years in Monster. I'm actually wearing it today.
I know a heartbreak. My favorite eyeshadow of all time is the color So Quiche by ColourPop. It's a really unique olive Super Shock shadow with like pink glitter in it.
Oh.
I've never seen anything like it, and they discontinued it. I won't even. Rude. There's no way I'll ever find a dupe for it. I don't think. It was such a unique, because the Super Shock shadow formula is like something that other brands don't do, and like I'm never gonna find something for that, but I still have it. So like,
I think you could probably find a colored dupe, but not a formula.
And it was so sparkly.
Temptalia is saying that Urban Decay Moondust eyeshadow in lithium is very close.
I feel like I might have that shade. I have a couple of Moondust.
Figured that you would.
Not intentionally like looking for it, but like that's one of those shades where I'm like a moth to like light, where I'm like, ooh, and I always buy things similar to that, and I always end up with a couple of like close ones, but nothing that I own is close to the So Quiche color.
I actually Googled it because I didn't know what that color was, and after the original like ColourPop So Quiche eyeshadow, the next thing was ColourPop So Quiche eyeshadow in Dupe.
Yeah.
Was like the next Google search.
Doesn't exist.
Okay, so what trap have you fallen down the most in searching for dupes? Finding a similar product at a different price point, um, trying to find a product but not wanting to support that brand, finding a shade in a different formula, or finding a product after something's been discontinued?
I think mine, so I've grown a lot since doing this, but I think mine used to be trying to find something cheaper,
Yeah.
which like I really feel like I've become self-aware, like I don't do it that often anymore. But even with my olive palette, like I was tempted to get that Morphe one. I think it was called like Making Money or something stupid because it has a couple of
Bad.
olive shades. And I was like, you know what, I'll buy it and try it just to make sure that I like olive. But so yeah, I fall into the find it cheaper. What about you?
I think that one, I think for makeup, the finding a similar product at a different price point definitely used to be the main thing. But I've also become much more, I don't want to say picky about what I buy, but like
Yeah.
I do a lot of research and I don't really make impulse buys of like a product that I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
But like in skincare, finding a cheaper alternative definitely gets me to this day. Like I'm literally dealing with the fallout of it right now.
I mean, it's hard to not want to buy a cheaper alternative to something that you like.
Yeah. And then for a long time, wanting something but not wanting to support the brand.
Yeah.
But I feel like, there's so many brands and so much product on the market now that like I'm not missing anything by not supporting like a
Yeah.
handful. It's a drop in the bucket of what's available.
I agree.
And also, nobody's really doing anything that terribly innovative right now either.
It's true.
Um, I've definitely gone through the like discontinued thing. I've experienced all of them. I've experienced dupe fails of
Yeah.
having spent way more trying to find an alternative than if I had just bought the thing.
Buy the damn thing.
Yeah, I feel like I don't, with the exception of sometimes skincare, like probably once a year I fall down a skincare rabbit hole. I'm just not looking for dupes anymore like I used to.
I'm not either. In fact, as we were planning for this, I thought of one where I like blocked myself from doing it and was like, no. Two primers, the Tatcha, what was it? The like the putty one.
Silk canvas, is that
The
what it
silk
is?
silk canvas. It was $52 and I was like, I'm not spending $52 on a primer, dummy. And I knew like the elf one was a dupe. And like honestly, I was in Target and it finally was in stock in Target and I was like holding it and I was like, you know what? I don't even want this. Like, what am I doing?
Wait, at Target? Oh, sorry, the elf one.
But yeah. And then the Milk Hydro Grip Primer is like my favorite primer of all time. And again, Elf came out with one that was supposed to be like a dupe for it. I ended up getting it in like a not a gift. I think it was a gift set. It was like their jelly, like cherry collection. Anyway,
Okay.
it was like a tiny one, and I was like all set to buy like the big version of the jelly primer, and I'm glad I didn't because the tiny one was like very meh in comparison. And I have the big milk one. I was like, why am I even looking for a dupe of this? I
I
was like
think I
mentally
actually have
prepared
a
for
mini of it and it's not really for my skin. So
I
next
love
time I have stuff to send you, I'll send it to you.
it. Okay.
Because I already sent that package, Mom.
Like literally the world's best package. I'm wearing the nail polish you sent me.
Oh, yay. Oh,
The
I did not. I meant to do my nails, but I washed my brushes instead.
my the reason I used a beauty blender, well, sponge, my brush that I used for my blush fell in the sink. I know, and it was clean, and then it fell in the sink, and nothing that falls in the sink is clean.
No, you got to wash that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, in between binge watching Buffy and picking up barbecue today, I washed my brushes.
yeah. If you're listening to this, wash your brushes.
Yeah, wash your brushes, you filthy animal. Um, I think that's all of our dupe things.
Yeah. We'll definitely post some good resources to like accounts that post dupes because there are a lot of really informative ones if you are looking for a dupe to be like a researched consumer.
Yeah.
You'll post your educated consumerism post because that was so helpful.
I think Dupe That and Temptalia are really great for
Yeah.
looking for, well, specifically if you're trying to find like a shade, like a color of something in a different product. But yeah, educated consumer, you're wallet is just as loud, if not louder, than your voice.
Yep. And just be smart when you're looking for dupes. Kind of try to take a step back and be self-aware and figure out what you're looking for, how much you're willing to spend, and yeah, plan it out before you buy.
And stick to your budget. I see stuff on Reddit all the time of like, well, I don't have food for a week, or like my rent will be late, but I bought this, and I'm just like,
That's not a funny joke.
that's awful.
Yeah.
Don't do that, people.
Yeah, definitely don't do that.
You deserve a better life than that.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe we'll link in our like influencers mention section on the blog post. I'll also add Bravely and the financial diet for anybody who's looking to get a little smarter with their money.
It's a good idea.
I'm in the process of doing that, though definitely not in the stage of I don't need food or rent, I just need lipstick.
Just need to...
You know that they don't have any regular bullet lipsticks right now?
Really?
Yeah, they just have the pencil, the crayon.
Damn, they had like one of my favorite bullet lipstick formulas. I still have some of theirs.
I think that they like went on this mission to make everything be vegan.
I thought it was.
I think everything was cruelty free and like food grade to begin with. But then they were like, okay, we're going to make everything vegan. And while I respect that, I also just like a lot of stuff now has soy that didn't before, so I can't use it anymore because I guess that was like an alternative to beeswax. And there's no they don't have any bullet lipsticks on the they have a creamy matte lip crayon, a shimmer lip crayon, and a longwear lip stain. Actually, that formula does look really nice.
That's kind of disappointing. Also, I was kidding. Don't eat your bite lipsticks. Pay your rent. Well, buy food.
Buy food, pay your rent, and then set a budget, like pay your bills, and then see where you got funny money to spend on makeup.
And do our lipstick challenge once you buy some funny money lipstick, and follow us on Instagram. Do you want to lead us out with all of our links?
Yeah. Instagram at Beauty Birds Podcast, Twitter at Beauty Birds Pod, blog at beautybirdspodcast.com, and Facebook.com/Beauty Birds Podcast. Basically, Beauty Birds Podcast everywhere except for Twitter, which is Beauty Birds Pod, because it was too long and they made me shorten it.
Boo. I think that's it. We'll see you next week. Yes. Don't forget to subscribe to us if you're watching us on YouTube.
Subscribe, like, leave comments, leave nice 5-star reviews, and interact with us on the interwebs.
And hang in there. I hope you guys are doing okay.
Stay home, stay safe, wash your brushes.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.